This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the all-electric Prologue SUV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the generous passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, welcome to Coach Unplugged. Coach Flitter and I he has convinced me to run a free clinic. He has convinced me to let you listen to a couple episodes of Coaching Youth Hoops, which I think will be really pertinent to you as a basketball coach. And we got some great free giveaways. So I'm going to let him take it from here. All right, let's head off to the podcast.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I'm so happy you decided to join us. Before we get started today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shoe machine in the market. I've said this multiple times. We own 3 of them. I want a 4th and a 5th. My AD's listening to me, but they're so great. They work so well. They're so easy to set up. I think my record is 37 seconds or 32 seconds to set it up. But mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. Mention Coach Collins, they'll take really good care of you. And also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. This is a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's everything you need from a nationally ranked. We won 3 state titles. I think we were just talking recently. We've won over 460 games in our program and lost 130 over the last 20 years. And I think we know the secret sauce to be successful, the roadmap, what it takes on and off the court. So go over and check it out and enjoy the podcast. Bye.
Not too long ago, I watched a movie with my daughter. It's one of her favorite movies is Grown Ups. And it's where Adam Sandler and David Spade, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, Kevin James all return to the city of their youth as middle-aged men so they can all attend a funeral of their 8th grade, basketball coach. And I know a lot of people thought that that's really kind of a, sappy storyline, and it was just designed as a reason to get all those guys together in the same place. But anybody who's ever been on a team, who's been part of a team, knows that that isn't really that sappy at all. That players do that. Coaches have a huge impact on players, and that impact is felt long after the final buzzer sounds. I've played on a lot of teams growing up. I played on grade school teams, middle school teams, went to 2 high schools, played in some all-star teams, played in college. And, I'd really be hard-pressed to remember any specific details as to what we ran offensively, defensively, out-of-bounds plays, special situations, anything like that. But I can remember each and every one of my coaches in complete, vivid detail. I remember their personalities. I remember their humor. I remember how they made me feel. I remember if they helped me get better. I remember if they cared about me as a person or if they were just interested in me as a player. And, even right now talking about them, I have to smile thinking about a couple of them. But I got to admit, there's a couple of them, just the memory of them, makes me cringe as well. But right or wrong, good or bad, positive or negative, I remember each and every one of them. Look, as coaches, especially those of you who coach younger kids, you're going to have some players that are going to be, able to go on and play in their high school teams. You'll have even fewer that might make it and be able to play in college. And let's face it, probably none of you are going to have, players that are going to eventually play, professionally. But that doesn't make any difference. Those players are going to remember you and the impact that you have on their life for the rest of their lives, whether that is good or bad. In the 2008 Beijing Olympics, there was a study done where all the athletes in the Olympic Village were surveyed, and they were trying to determine what was the number one factor in determining, someone who won a gold medal or someone who achieved a personal best. And the results might surprise you. They surprised me. The number one deciding factor wasn't equipment, it wasn't training techniques, it wasn't workout facilities, it wasn't nutrition, it wasn't any of the resources that we might think it was. The number one deciding factor on whether or not an athlete reached their very best, reached their potential, was a strong, quality relationship with their coach. That was it, the coach. The coach was the deciding factor on whether an athlete was successful or not. And, as it turns out that, not only do athletes, win sometimes because of their coaches, but athletes a lot of times win, for their coaches as well. How do you develop those relationships? They're going to have an impact on athletes, for the rest of their life. Well, it's simple, really. Not easy, but simple. It basically comes down to two things. One, you have to help them get better. Not everybody does that. A lot of coaches use players as kind of chess pieces, as pawns, and don't really take the time and effort to help them get better. And believe me, athletes know if you're putting in that effort. Athletes know if you have their best interest at heart, and they will respect and love you forever if you help them get better. The second thing is you have to be there for them. You have to have their backs. You have to support them unconditionally, without judging them and without any ulterior motives. You got to love and respect them and appreciate them for who they are, regardless of how many points they score or rebounds they get or deflections or any of those things. And athletes can see through that, and they want people who appreciate them for who they are and not for what they can do. And if you do those two things, your athletes are going to remember you forever. Unfortunately, if you don't do those two things, your athletes are going to remember you forever as well, just not as favorably. Look, as coaches, we have a great opportunity to impact and influence the lives of others. And, like it or not, it's really not a responsibility that we can ignore. And it certainly isn't an opportunity that we should pass up.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, Rewards members save $80 on the Master Forge 4-burner gas grill, now just $149. Plus, Rewards members save $900 on the Lowe's exclusive Hisense French door refrigerator, now only $999. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Programs subject to terms and conditions. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Subject to change.